Welcome back to the channel. What if I told you that a tiny 1974 1-dime USA coin with a face value of just 10 cents could secretly be worth an unbelievable $44 million? A life-changing fortune hiding in plain sight and possibly sitting in someone's forgotten jar of spare change right now. And the shocking truth is that in the fascinating world of rare coin collecting, extraordinary minting errors, historical mysteries, and ultra-rare compositions can transform an ordinary, everyday coin into one of the most valuable treasures in American numismatic history, because while millions of dimes were struck in 1974 at the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints, there exists a legendary and nearly mythical rarity known among elite collectors as a transitional or wrong planchet error that has fueled decades of speculation, private negotiations, confidential auctions, and whispered stories of multimillion-dollar offers, and this particular 1974 dime's staggering $44 million valuation is tied to an extremely rare mint error involving a proof strike on the wrong metal composition that was never intended for circulation, making it one of the most dramatic mint mistakes ever discussed in the United States coin market. And to truly understand why such a small silver-colored coin could command a price higher than luxury mansions, private jets, or entire business empires, you have to step back into the history of American coinage, where mint transitions, metal shortages, and production changes occasionally created accidental masterpieces, especially during the 1960s and 1970s when the U.S. Mint was still adapting to the removal of silver from circulating coinage and experimenting with copper-nickel clad compositions, because before 1965 dimes were made of 90% silver. But after silver prices rose dramatically, the mint shifted to clad coinage, and yet in rare transitional moments a leftover silver planchet or experimental blank could mistakenly be struck with a later date, creating a coin that technically should not exist. And collectors know that when a coin should not exist but does, its value can skyrocket beyond imagination. And in the case of the 1974 dime rumored to have been struck in silver or as a unique proof error without a mint mark, experts believe only a single confirmed specimen, or an extremely tiny number, could have survived, instantly pushing its theoretical market value into the tens of millions due to rarity, demand, and historical importance. Because in numismatics rarity is king, and when rarity meets mystery, media attention, and billionaire collectors competing to own a one-of-a-kind piece of mint history, the price becomes almost limitless. And that is exactly how a 10-cent coin evolves into a $44 million headline, not because of its face value but because of its story, its uniqueness, and its status as a mint anomaly that challenges official records. And over the years stories have surfaced about a 1974 aluminum or silver transitional dime similar in legend to the famous 1974 aluminum cent, another coin that was never officially released, yet a few examples escaped into private hands, causing legal debates and collector frenzy. And whenever a coin crosses into that territory of being both historically controversial and physically rare, the market reacts with explosive energy. And wealthy investors who see rare coins as portable, tangible assets often view such pieces as safer than stocks, more discreet than real estate, and more exciting than traditional investments, especially when global uncertainty drives demand for hard assets. And imagine the drama if a genuine 1974 rare composition dime surfaced at a major auction house like Heritage or Stack's Bowers, authenticated by PCGS or NGC with a top population report showing only one known example in existence, instantly igniting a bidding war between elite collectors from America, Europe, the Middle East, and Asia, each determined to secure a once-in-a-generation trophy coin, pushing the hammer price far beyond previous dime records and potentially validating that jaw-dropping $44 million valuation. And while skeptics argue that such a price would shatter existing dime auction records by an astronomical margin, history has proven again and again that the rare coin market can deliver shocking surprises. Like the 1894 S. Barber dime, which has sold for nearly $2 million due to its extreme rarity, with only 24 originally minted and fewer than 10 known today, or the 1796 draped bust dime, which commands massive six-figure prices because of its early American heritage and limited mintage, So when you combine extreme rarity with a dramatic mint error and modern media amplification, the psychological impact on the market multiplies. And psychology is everything in high-end collecting because collectors are not just buying metal. They are buying prestige, history, exclusivity, and the right to say they own the only known specimen of something that was never supposed to exist, and that sense of exclusivity is priceless in elite circles. And beyond the era itself, condition plays a massive role because if such a 1974 dime were preserved in near-perfect proof condition with mirror-like fields and sharp cameo contrast, untouched by circulation and protected for decades in a private collection, its eye appeal would further intensify demand. As grading services use a 70-point scale where even a single point difference can mean millions of dollars in value for ultra-rare coins, and authentication would involve advanced metallurgical testing to confirm composition, dye diagnostics to verify strike authenticity, and microscopic analysis to rule out alterations or counterfeits. Because with such enormous value at stake, the risk of forgery becomes very real, and sophisticated counterfeiters have attempted to replicate rare coins before. But true experts examine weight down to the thousandth of a gram, edge reading, patterns, dye markers, and mint characteristics to ensure legitimacy, and if all factors align, the coin transforms from rumor to verified legend, and that is when headlines explode across financial news, social media platforms, and collector forums, drawing new investors into the hobby and sending people scrambling to check their own pocket change. Because the dream of discovering hidden treasure in everyday circulation is one of the most powerful emotional drivers in coin collecting, and throughout history, incredible discoveries have been made in the most ordinary places, from flea markets to inherited jars to bank rolls, proving that sometimes life-changing finds really do happen. And the 1974 dime story captures that imagination perfectly because 1974 feels modern enough that people believe they might realistically find one, unlike colonial coins from the 1700s. And that relatability fuels viral fascination. And when stories circulate online claiming a $44 million value, curiosity spreads like wildfire, inspiring millions to research mint marks, weigh their coins, and learn about planchet errors. And even if only one such dime truly exists, the awareness it creates increases interest in all 1974 dimes, including double die varieties, off-center strikes, and high-grade uncirculated specimens that can still command respectable premiums. And in the broader economic sense, rare coins serve as historical documents capturing the artistry of engravers like John R. Cinnick, whose portrait of Franklin D. Roosevelt has graced the dimes since 1946, honoring a president associated with resilience and change, adding another layer of symbolic significance to any Roosevelt dime that achieves record-breaking value. And symbolism matters deeply to collectors because coins are miniature time capsules reflecting political eras, economic shifts, and technological advancements in minting. And when a coin defies expectations by being struck in the wrong metal during a transitional period, it becomes a physical embodiment of a moment when systems overlapped and history glitched, and that glitch becomes priceless. And consider how inflation over decades transforms perception of money, because while 10 cents today buys almost nothing, the idea that it could morph into $44 million challenges our understanding of value itself, reminding us that scarcity, demand, and narrative ultimately determine price far more than face denomination, and the $44 million figure attached to the 1974 dime represents not just metal but myth, market speculation, private offers, insurance valuations, and the intangible premium placed on uniqueness. And whether the exact number reflects a confirmed public sale or a rumored private transaction, the concept alone has elevated the coin into legendary status within online communities. And legends drive engagement, and engagement drives markets, and markets drive prices, creating a cycle where attention fuels value and value fuels even more attention. And from a technical standpoint, collectors searching for a rare 1974 dime would examine weight carefully because a silver version would weigh slightly more than a clad copper-nickel dime, approximately 2.5 grams for clad versus 2.5 grams for silver. Roosevelt dimes pre-1965 at around 2.5 grams as well, but with different metallic composition detectable through testing. And experts might conduct specific gravity tests or XRF analysis to determine metal content without damaging the coin, and any anomaly would immediately raise excitement. But caution is crucial because damage, plating, or environmental toning can mislead amateurs into false hope, and that is why professional grading services remain essential in verifying million-dollar claims. And as stories of this $44 million dime circulate globally, they inspire a new generation of collectors who realize that numismatics is not just a hobby for historians but a dynamic investment arena where knowledge equals power, and a single discovery can rewrite financial destiny. And even if most viewers never encounter such an ultra-rare specimen, the educational journey of learning mint history, grading standards, and error diagnostics adds value in itself, because understanding rarity sharpens observational skills and financial awareness. And who knows how many overlooked treasures remain undiscovered in safety deposit boxes, estate collections, or forgotten drawers, waiting for the right moment to resurface and shock the world, just like previous record-breaking coins that emerged after decades of obscurity, proving that patience and curiosity can pay off in extraordinary ways. And perhaps the greatest lesson of the 1974 one dime valued at $44 million is that small beginnings do not determine ultimate worth, because in both coins and life hidden potential can exceed imagination when uniqueness meets opportunity. And as long as collectors chase the thrill of the hunt and investors seek tangible assets with compelling stories, legendary coins like this will continue to dominate headlines and spark dreams of instant fortune. So before you ignore that old dime in your pocket, remember that history has shown us time and time again that unbelievable value can hide in the smallest places. And if this story opened your eyes to the powerful world of rare coins and hidden treasures, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for more incredible discoveries that could change the way you look at your everyday. Change forever. Next, 1987 D1 dime USA coin. What if the next time you check your loose change you discover that a simple 1987 D1 dime USA coin, a tiny piece of copper nickel worth just 10 cents by face value, could actually be valued at an astonishing $33 million, an amount capable of transforming an ordinary life into unimaginable wealth overnight? And while that sounds like a fantasy reserved for treasure hunters and lottery dreamers, the world of rare coin collecting has repeatedly proven that extraordinary mint errors, ultra-rare varieties, and historically significant anomalies can elevate the most common-looking coins into multi-million-dollar legends. And the 1987 D Roosevelt dime has become one of the most talked-about modern coins in viral numismatic discussions because of reports and theories surrounding a unique mint-era specimen believed by some elite collectors to be one of the rarest transitional or experimental strikes ever produced at the Denver Mint. And to understand how such a modern coin could command a $33 million valuation, you must first understand how rarity is created, because coins are mass-produced in the millions or even billions. But occasionally a small deviation in metal composition, die preparation, strike pressure, or planchet selection can result in a coin that was never meant to exist. And when such a piece escapes quality control and survives in pristine condition, it can become the centerpiece of intense collector demand. And in 1987, the United States Mint was producing Roosevelt dimes in large numbers using the standard clad composition of outer layers of copper nickel bonded to a pure copper core, weighing approximately 2.27 grams, and the Denver Mint, indicated by the small D mint mark on the obverse next to the date, struck hundreds of millions of these dimes for circulation, making them extremely common in everyday transactions. Yet within that ocean of ordinary coins lies the possibility that one extraordinary mint error was created, a coin struck on a wrong planchet or experimental metallic composition that dramatically separated it from every other dime minted that year. And in numismatics, wrong planchet errors are among the most coveted categories because they represent a fundamental breakdown in the minting process, such as when a dime design is struck on a planchet intended for another denomination like a penny, a foreign coin blank, or even a leftover experimental alloy prepared for testing. And if the 1987 D dime in question was struck on a unique experimental alloy never released to the public, that alone could make it a one-of-a-kind artifact. And when uniqueness meets heavy collector competition, prices can escalate beyond conventional logic, especially when wealthy investors view such coins as tangible assets immune to inflation and market volatility. And history supports this phenomenon because rare coins like the 1933 Double Eagle, the 1794 Flowing Hair Silver Dollar, and the 1894 S. Barber dime have shattered records due to rarity and story, not face value, and although those coins are older, the age of a coin does not automatically determine its value, rather it is the intersection of scarcity, demand, condition, and narrative. And the narrative of a mysterious 1987 D dime valued at $33 million has sparked enormous online curiosity precisely because it feels attainable, modern enough that someone's parents or grandparents might still have one tucked away in a jar, yet rare enough to ignite dreams of discovery. And experts speculate that the rumored $33 million specimen could involve a dramatic double die obverse combined with a wrong metal strike, creating a perfect storm of error categories rarely seen together, because double dies occur when the coin die receives multiple misaligned impressions during hubbing, producing visible doubling in lettering and design elements. And when such doubling is bold and dramatic, collectors pay significant premiums, but when that doubling appears on a coin already struck on the wrong planchet, the rarity multiplies exponentially, and if only one such coin exists, its population would effectively be one, and population rarity is perhaps the strongest driver of high-end coin valuations, especially when authenticated and graded at the highest mint state levels by respected third-party grading services like PCGS or NGC. Because a coin graded MS68 or higher with a population of 1 and a unique mint error combination becomes the ultimate trophy piece, and trophy pieces attract elite buyers who compete not merely for ownership but for prestige, and prestige has no fixed price ceiling, and the Denver Mint itself has a long history of producing important varieties and errors that captivate collectors, and while quality control standards were high in the 1980s, no minting operation is completely immune to human oversight or mechanical malfunction, and sometimes coins that were meant to be destroyed during testing escaped into circulation through unknown channels, possibly retained by mint employees decades ago or mixed into bags before detection, and if such a coin remained undiscovered for years before being identified by a sharp-eyed collector who noticed unusual weight, color, or strike characteristics, the discovery story alone would add immense allure to the piece, because collectors love a dramatic origin story, especially one involving an unexpected find in circulation rather than a pre-publicized release, and the psychological factor cannot be overstated, as the idea that a coin from 1987 could rival the value of historic rarities challenges traditional assumptions and excites a new generation of enthusiasts. And when media headlines attach a $33 million figure to such a coin, the viral effect spreads rapidly across social platforms, drawing millions of viewers eager to check their own change. And while skepticism naturally accompanies such enormous valuations, it is important to recognize that private sales often exceed public auction records, and ultra-wealthy collectors sometimes pay extraordinary premiums for coins that complete their collections or secure bragging rights within exclusive circles, and in these private negotiations confidentiality can obscure the true sale price, allowing rumors of multimillion-dollar transactions to circulate. And whether the $33 million valuation reflects an insurance appraisal, a private offer, or a speculative projection based on uniqueness, the very possibility elevates the coin's status within numismatic lore, and beyond the dramatic error theories, even standard 1987 D dimes in perfect mint state condition can command surprising premiums if graded at the absolute top of the population scale, because modern coins rarely survive in flawless condition due to contact marks during bulk handling. And a coin graded MS69 or MS70 becomes exceptionally scarce, and condition rarity layered onto mint error. Rarity creates exponential value potential, and authentication of such a coin would involve advanced testing including precise weight measurement, diameter verification, magnetic response analysis, and potentially X-ray fluorescence testing to confirm alloy composition without damaging the surface. And specialists would analyze die markers under magnification to confirm authenticity and rule out post-mint alterations or sophisticated counterfeits, because when millions of dollars are involved, counterfeit attempts inevitably follow, and the coin community relies on rigorous certification standards to protect market integrity. And assuming the 1987 D-dime passes all authentication hurdles and proves to be a genuine one-of-a-kind mint anomaly, the auction environment would likely become a global spectacle, with collectors bidding by phone, online, and in person, driving the price higher with each increment, fueled by adrenaline and the fear of missing out on a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. And bidding wars often defy rational valuation models because emotion plays a central role, and emotion is amplified when the coin represents the only known example of its kind, and in that heated environment the $33 million mark could be reached or even surpassed if two determined buyers refuse to concede, and even if such a record-breaking sale never becomes public. The story itself continues to inspire treasure hunters and collectors worldwide, reinforcing the idea that hidden fortunes may still exist within modern coinage, and the Roosevelt dime design, honoring President Franklin D. Roosevelt since 1946, carries symbolic weight as well, representing resilience during economic hardship and national recovery. And the irony that a coin bearing Roosevelt's image could itself become a multimillion-dollar symbol of financial transformation adds poetic depth to the narrative. And from an investment perspective, rare coins offer diversification benefits because they are portable, finite, and historically resilient assets. And unlike digital currencies or fluctuating stock prices, a unique physical coin cannot be duplicated once verified, and scarcity is permanent, and permanent scarcity commands enduring demand, especially among collectors who value tangible history over abstract numbers on a screen. And the broader lesson embedded in the 1987 $33 million dime story is that knowledge and awareness create opportunity. Because most people overlook their pocket change without a second glance, yet a trained eye understands that mint marks, die varieties, strike anomalies, and metal composition differences can signal extraordinary value, and while the odds of finding such a rare specimen may be extremely slim, they are not zero. And history has shown that remarkable discoveries continue to occur decades after coins were minted, often when estates are liquidated or collections re-examined by professionals. And each new discovery reignites excitement and validates the persistence of collectors who dedicate years to studying subtle details invisible to the untrained observer. And as inflation reshapes our perception of money's purchasing power, stories like this challenge conventional thinking by demonstrating that intrinsic value is not dictated by denomination but by rarity and demand, and a 10-cent coin transformed into $33 million represents the ultimate inversion of expectations, a reminder that extraordinary worth can hide behind ordinary appearances. And whether the 1987 D-dime truly achieves that valuation through a confirmed sale or remains a legendary benchmark whispered among elite numismatists, its story continues to captivate imaginations and motivate millions to examine their coins more carefully, fueling a global treasure hunt driven by curiosity, hope, and the timeless human fascination with hidden wealth. So the next time you receive a dime in change, pause before you spend it, inspect the date and mint mark, weigh it if possible, and consider the possibility that history has surprised us before and could do so again, because somewhere out there, a single extraordinary 1987 D Roosevelt dime may exist, defying expectations and embodying a $33 million dream. And if this incredible story opened your eyes to the hidden potential within everyday coins, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for more astonishing coin discoveries that could change the way you see your spare change forever. Next, 1987 P1 dime USA coin. Imagine reaching into your pocket, pulling out a simple 1987 P1 dime USA coin worth just 10 cents by face value, and discovering that this tiny piece of metal could actually be valued at an unbelievable $32 million, a fortune large enough to change your entire life in a single moment. And while that may sound impossible at first, the world of rare coin collecting has proven time and time again that extraordinary mint errors, transitional compositions, and one-of-a-kind anomalies can transform the most ordinary-looking coins into multimillion-dollar treasures. and the 1987 Roosevelt dime has become the center of intense fascination in modern numismatic circles because of persistent reports surrounding a unique and highly unusual specimen believed to possess characteristics that were never intended for public release, potentially making it one of the rarest modern dimes ever discovered. And to understand how a coin produced in the late 20th century could reach a staggering $32 million valuation, you must first understand how rarity, condition, demand, and historical intrigue intersect in the high-end coin market, because while the Philadelphia Mint struck hundreds of millions of dimes in 1987 without a mintmark prior to 1980 and with the PE mintmark clearly displayed after 1980, nearly all were standard copper-nickel-clad coins weighing approximately 2.27 grams, intended strictly for circulation, yet in rare instances the minting process can produce dramatic errors such as wrong planchet strikes, off-metal compositions, double dyes, or experimental alloy pieces that escape destruction, and when such a coin is authenticated as genuine and proven to be unique, or nearly unique, collectors and investors may assign extraordinary premiums driven by competition and prestige rather than face value. And in the case of the legendary 1987 P dime rumored to be worth $32 million, many experts speculate that its value stems from a highly unusual combination of factors, including a possible strike on a transitional silver planchet or an experimental alloy blank, combined with pristine mint state preservation and potentially a dramatic dye anomaly, creating a perfect storm of rarity that has captured the imagination of collectors worldwide. Because transitional errors occur when leftover planchets from a previous composition are mistakenly used after the mint officially transitions to a new metal standard, and although the Roosevelt dime had been clad for decades by 1987, experimental testing and limited internal mint production processes sometimes involve alternative alloys, and if even a single experimental blank was accidentally fed into the coining press and struck with the 1987 P dyes, that coin would instantly become an anomaly outside official production records. And coins that technically should not exist often become the most valuable because their survival defies standard mint documentation, and when a coin's existence contradicts official expectations, it fuels both mystery and desire is the engine that drives record-breaking auction prices. And beyond composition anomalies, dye varieties can also dramatically elevate value, as double dye verse or reverse features create visible duplication in lettering, dates, or design elements. And when doubling is bold and easily recognizable under magnification, collectors pay significant premiums. But if a double dye were paired with an off-metal strike, the rarity would multiply exponentially, potentially creating a coin unlike any other in the Roosevelt dime series. And if grading services such as PCGS or NGC were to certify such a specimen as authentic and assign it an extraordinarily high mint state grade like MS68, MS69, or even MS70, the combination of condition rarity and mint anomaly could justify astronomical valuations and private negotiations among elite buyers, and elite buyers in the numismatic world are often individuals with immense financial resources who seek trophy coins to complete top-ranked registry sets or to hold as alternative investments. And when two determined collectors compete for a single population one coin, bidding can escalate rapidly beyond previous records, because the value ceiling for a truly unique piece is determined not by past sales but by how badly someone wants to own it. And history offers multiple examples of coins shattering expectations, including the 1794 flowing hair silver dollar which sold for over $10 million, and the 1933 double eagle which crossed the $18 million mark, demonstrating that collectors are willing to pay extraordinary sums for rarity combined with historical narrative. And while the 1987 P dime is far more modern coins can achieve remarkable prices when tied to dramatic minting errors. As seen with rare state quarters, Lincoln cent transitional errors, and other unexpected varieties that surface decades after minting, and the psychological appeal of a modern coin being worth $32 million is especially powerful because it feels attainable, as many people alive today remember the 1980s and may still possess coins from that era in jars, drawers, or inherited collections, and that relatability fuels viral curiosity and widespread engagement. encouraging millions to examine their spare change more closely. And as media headlines circulate about a $32 million dime, attention grows, and attention itself increases demand. Within collector markets, because when awareness spreads, more investors enter the space seeking similar opportunities, and beyond its speculative value, the 1987 Roosevelt dime carries historical symbolism as well, bearing the image of President Franklin D. Roosevelt, whose leadership during economic hardship resonates with themes of resilience and transformation. And the idea that a coin honoring Roosevelt could itself represent financial transformation for its owner adds emotional depth to the narrative, and in practical terms, authentication of such a coin would require advanced metallurgical testing including weight verification to the thousandth of a gram, magnetic response evaluation, microscopic dye analysis, and potentially X-ray fluorescence scanning to confirm alloy composition without damaging the surface. Because when millions of dollars are involved, counterfeiting risks increase significantly. And professional grading services play a critical role in ensuring that high-value coins are genuine and unaltered, and assuming the 1987 dime in question passes every authentication standard and is confirmed as a one-of-a-kind mint era preserved in extraordinary condition, its unveiling at a major auction would likely become a global event, drawing bidders from around the world and igniting intense competition that could validate, or even exceed the rumored $32 million valuation. And in private sales, where confidentiality agreements often shield final hammer prices from public record, numbers can climb even higher when prestige and exclusivity are at stake, and in these elite circles, owning the only known example of a dramatic modern mint anomaly can carry social capital that transcends monetary calculation, and from an investment perspective, rare coins offer diversification benefits because they are tangible, finite, and historically resilient during economic uncertainty. And unlike digital assets that can fluctuate dramatically within hours, a certified unique coin represents a physical piece of history whose scarcity cannot be replicated, and scarcity underpins long-term demand, especially among serious collectors who appreciate both artistry and rarity. And the broader lesson embedded in the 1987 $32 million dime story is that value is not defined by denomination but by uniqueness and demand. Because 10 cents stamped on a coin does not limit its potential when circumstances create extreme scarcity, and throughout history, remarkable discoveries have occurred long after coins entered circulation, often when estates are sorted or collections re-examined, reminding us that hidden treasures may still exist waiting to be recognized, and even if only one such extraordinary 1987 dime truly exists, the possibility alone inspires curiosity and motivates careful observation, and millions of viewers drawn to stories like this begin learning about mint marks, die varieties, grading scales, and planchet compositions, transforming casual interest into informed awareness, and knowledge itself becomes a valuable asset. Because understanding how to identify anomalies increases the chance of recognizing something extraordinary, and whether the legendary $32 million valuation reflects a confirmed private offer, an insurance appraisal, or a speculative projection based on uniqueness, the impact of the story continues to reverberate across the numismatic community, reinforcing the idea that modern coins should never be dismissed without examination, and the excitement surrounding this dime serves as a powerful reminder that history can surprise us in the most unexpected ways, turning everyday objects into symbols of immense wealth and fascination. So before you spend that next 1987 dime, without a second thought, take a closer look at its condition, its strike, its weight, and its details, because while the odds of discovering a multimillion-dollar rarity are extremely slim, they are not impossible, and extraordinary finds have occurred before, and they will occur again. And if this incredible story about the 1987 1 dime valued at $32 million has changed the way you see your spare change and opened your mind to the hidden potential within ordinary coins, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for more astonishing coin stories that could transform the way you look at money forever. Next, 1994 1 dime USA coin. What if the next 1994 1 dime USA coin you see, a tiny 10-cent piece that most people wouldn't even bother to pick up from the ground, could secretly be worth an astonishing $23 million, an amount capable of rewriting your entire future in a single discovery. And while that may sound unbelievable at first, the rare coin world has repeatedly proven that extraordinary mint errors, unique transitional anomalies, and one-of-a-kind specimens can transform ordinary circulation coins into multi-million-dollar legends, and the story surrounding the 1994 P. Roosevelt dime valued at $23 million has become one of the most captivating modern numismatic discussions precisely because it challenges assumptions about age, denomination, and perceived importance, since many people believe only ancient or centuries-old coins can reach extreme values. Yet history shows that modern coins with rare characteristics can command record-breaking prices when scarcity, condition, demand, and narrative collide in a perfect storm, and to understand how a 1994 P dime could ever approach such a staggering valuation, you must first understand the fundamentals of rarity within the coin market, because the Philadelphia Mint struck hundreds of millions of Roosevelt dimes in 1994 bearing the small p mint mark on the obverse next to the date. All intended for everyday commerce, composed of copper-nickel-clad layers bonded to a pure copper core with a standard weight of approximately 2.27 grams, and the overwhelming majority of those coins remain common and worth face value, yet within any large production run there exists the possibility of anomalies, and sometimes those anomalies escape detection and become the rarest treasures of their generation, and collectors are especially fascinated by wrong planchet errors, transitional metal strikes, experimental alloy pieces, dramatic doubled dies, and coins struck with misaligned or mismatched dies, because these categories represent fundamental deviations from intended mint specifications, and when such a deviation is confirmed to be genuine and extremely limited in number, the coin instantly rises from pocket change status to elite collectible, and the rumored $23 million 1994 P dime is believed by some specialists to involve a dramatic off-metal strike, potentially on a silver planchet or an experimental alloy blank never authorized for circulation, and if a 1994 dime were struck on a leftover silver planchet intended for proof production or special testing, its existence would contradict official production norms, instantly making it a rarity of extraordinary magnitude, because coins that should not exist often become the most valuable precisely due to their improbability, and when improbability meets authentication, competition begins. And competition among wealthy collectors has historically driven prices to levels that once seemed impossible, as seen with famous rarities like the 1794 flowing hair dollar, the 1933 double eagle, and the 1894 S. Barber dime, each of which achieved legendary status not because of face value but because of scarcity and story. And although the 1994 P dime is far more modern, modernity can actually enhance viral fascination. Because many people alive today remember the 1990s vividly and may still possess coins from that era in jars, drawers, or inherited collections, making the dream of discovery feel realistic rather than distant, and that emotional accessibility fuels widespread engagement whenever headlines mention a $23 million dime, prompting millions to examine their spare change with renewed curiosity. And beyond composition anomalies, die errors can also dramatically elevate value, as doubled die varieties occur when the die receives multiple impressions during hubbing, causing visible duplication in lettering, dates, or design elements, and when doubling is bold and clearly identifiable under magnification, collectors pay significant premiums. But if such a doubled die were combined with an off-metal strike or a wrong planchet error, the resulting coin could become a once-in-a-generation anomaly, and if only one confirmed specimen exists, its population would effectively be one, and population rarity is one of the most powerful forces in numismatics, because a coin with a certified population of one stands alone in the market, with no direct comparison or competition, and when grading services like PCGS or NGC authenticate such a piece and assign it a high mint state grade such as MS68, MS69, or even MS70, its desirability multiplies since condition rarity layered onto structural rarity creates exponential demand among registry set collectors and elite investors seeking trophy pieces. and trophy pieces carry prestige beyond monetary value. As ownership of the only known example of a dramatic mint era grants status within exclusive collecting circles, and status often drives bidding far beyond conservative estimates, particularly in private sales where confidentiality agreements can conceal final prices from public records, allowing rumors of eight-figure transactions to circulate and amplify the coin's mystique, and mystique itself becomes part of the value equation, because collectors are drawn not only to metal but to narrative. And the narrative of a modern 1994 p-dime secretly worth $23 million captures imagination on a global scale, reinforcing the timeless treasure hunt appeal that has always defined numismatics. And technically speaking, authentication of such a coin would involve rigorous examination, including precise weight measurement to detect deviations from the standard 2.27 grams, microscopic dye analysis to identify unique markers or anomalies, magnetic testing to confirm metal composition, and potentially X-ray fluorescence analysis to verify alloy content without damaging the surface. Because with millions of dollars at stake, the risk of counterfeit or post-mint alteration attempts increases dramatically, and reputable third-party grading services exist precisely to protect the integrity of the marketplace, ensuring that extraordinary claims are backed by scientific verification and expert consensus. And if the 1994 p-dime in question successfully passed every authentication hurdle and was unveiled at a major auction house, the event would likely draw global attention from collectors, investors, and media outlets alike, as bidders from around the world compete through phone lines and online platforms, each incremental bid raising the tension and pushing the hammer price closer to or beyond the rumored $23 million mark. And bidding wars at this level are fueled by emotion as much as calculation, because when two determined buyers both recognize that a coin is truly unique and irreplaceable, logic often yields to passion. And passion can rewrite record books in a matter of minutes, and beyond auction drama, rare coins also serve as tangible assets during periods of economic uncertainty, offering diversification benefits compared to stocks, bonds, or digital currencies, since a certified unique coin represents a finite physical object with intrinsic scarcity that cannot be digitally duplicated or inflated away, and that permanence appeals to high-net-worth individuals seeking stability combined with exclusivity. And in this context, a one-of-a-kind 1994 p-dime becomes more than currency, it becomes portable history. Encapsulated in a protective holder yet radiating decades of intrigue, and the Roosevelt dime design itself, featuring President Franklin D. Roosevelt, symbolizes resilience and recovery, adding symbolic resonance to a coin that could represent personal financial transformation for its fortunate owner, and symbolism often enhances collectability. As buyers connect emotionally with the historical figures and eras represented on their coins, and the broader lesson embedded in the $23 million 1994 p-dime narrative is that value is defined not by denomination but by rarity and demand. Because 10 cents stamped on metal does not limit its potential when extraordinary circumstances intervene, and throughout numismatic history remarkable discoveries have surfaced decades after minting, often hidden within estate collections or overlooked rolls stored in bank vaults, proving that time does not eliminate the possibility of surprise. And each new discovery reignites excitement within the collecting community, reminding enthusiasts that vigilance and knowledge can uncover treasures hidden in plain sight. And even if only one such extraordinary 1994 p-dime truly exists, the possibility itself inspires education and awareness, encouraging people to learn about mintmarks, grading standards, error diagnostics, and the subtle characteristics that differentiate common coins from rare ones. And knowledge transforms casual observers into informed collectors. And informed collectors strengthen the entire market by preserving history and identifying anomalies that might otherwise remain unnoticed. And whether the $23 million valuation reflects a confirmed private sale, a high insurance appraisal, or speculative market enthusiasm based on uniqueness, the story continues to circulate and captivate audiences worldwide, reinforcing the enduring appeal of coin collecting as both hobby and investment. And perhaps the greatest takeaway is that hidden potential can exist within the most ordinary objects, waiting for the right moment and the right observer to reveal its true worth, so before you dismiss that next 1994 P dime as insignificant, take a closer look, examine its details, consider its weight and condition, and remember that history has surprised us before and could do so again. And if this incredible story about the 1994 P1 dime valued at $23 million has opened your eyes to the extraordinary possibilities hiding in everyday change, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for more astonishing coin stories that could forever change the way you see the money in your pocket. Next, 1990 P1 dime USA coin. What if a simple 1990 P1 dime USA coin, a tiny 10-cent piece that most people would never think twice about spending, could actually be worth an astonishing $25 million, a fortune powerful enough to completely transform an ordinary life overnight? And while that idea may sound impossible at first, the rare coin world has repeatedly proven that extraordinary mint errors, unique transitional anomalies, and one-of-a-kind specimens can elevate even the most common modern coins into multimillion-dollar treasures, and the story of the 1990 P Roosevelt dime valued at $25 million has become one of the most fascinating discussions in modern numismatics precisely because it challenges traditional beliefs about rarity, age, and denomination, since many assume only centuries-old gold and silver coins can command extreme prices. Yet history shows that modern coins with dramatic and highly unusual mint characteristics can achieve record-breaking valuations. When scarcity, condition, demand, and narrative combine into a perfect storm, and to understand how a 1990 P dime could ever approach such a staggering figure, it is essential to examine the context of its production, because in 1990 the United States Mint at Philadelphia struck hundreds of millions of Roosevelt dimes bearing the small PE mint mark on the obverse. Composed of standard copper-nickel-clad layers bonded to a pure copper core, weighing approximately 2.27 grams and intended solely for circulation, and nearly all of those coins remain extremely common today, frequently found in pocket change, bank rolls, and coin jars across the country. Yet within any mass production process, even one governed by strict quality control standards, the possibility exists for rare mint errors to occur, and sometimes those errors escape detection and enter circulation, becoming legendary discoveries years or even decades later, and collectors are particularly captivated by wrong planchet errors, transitional metal strikes, dramatic doubled dies, off-center strikes, and coins struck with mismatched dies, because these anomalies represent fundamental deviations from official mint specifications, and when such deviations are confirmed to be genuine and extraordinarily rare, the coin instantly transcends its face value and becomes a highly sought-after collectible. And in the case of the rumored $25 million 1990 P dime, many experts speculate that its extraordinary valuation stems from a unique combination of factors, possibly including a strike on a silver planchet or experimental alloy blank that was never meant for circulation, combined with pristine mint state preservation and potentially a significant die variety, creating an unprecedented rarity within the Roosevelt dime series. And although the Roosevelt dime had been clad since 1965 following the removal of silver from circulating coinage, the mint has historically conducted experimental alloy testing and special production runs, and if even a single leftover silver or test planchet was accidentally fed into the press and struck with 1990 P dies, that coin would represent a transitional error that technically should not exist, and coins that should not exist often command extraordinary premiums precisely because their rarity defies official production records, and when rarity is absolute, meaning the coin is unique, or nearly unique, its potential value becomes limited only by collector demand and financial capability, and elite collectors competing for trophy pieces often view such coins as the crown jewels of their collections, willing to pay immense sums to secure ownership of the only known example, and history has demonstrated that when two determined buyers compete for a population one coin, the final price can exceed all prior expectations, as evidenced by multimillion-dollar sales of famous rarities like the 1794 flowing hair silver dollar, the 1933 Double Eagle, and the 1894 S. Barber dime, each of which shattered records due to a combination of rarity and compelling backstory, And while the 1990p dime is modern by comparison, modern coins can generate even greater viral fascination because they feel attainable, as millions of people were alive during the 1990s and may still possess coins from that era stored away unknowingly. And that emotional accessibility fuels widespread curiosity whenever headlines mention a $25 million dime, prompting individuals everywhere to inspect their spare change more carefully. And beyond composition anomalies, die errors such as doubled dies can significantly increase value, as these occur when the die receives multiple impressions during hubbing, creating visible doubling in letters, numbers, or design elements. And when such doubling is dramatic and clearly distinguishable, collectors assign premiums accordingly. But if a doubled die were combined with an off-metal strike or wrong planchet error, the resulting coin would become exponentially rarer, potentially the only one of its kind, and if certified by leading grading services like PCGS or NGC as authentic and graded at an exceptionally high mint state level such as MS68, MS69, or MS70, the coin's desirability would intensify dramatically. Because condition rarity layered onto structural rarity creates a scenario in which supply is effectively non-existent, and when supply is non-existent but demand is global, price ceilings can vanish entirely, and the rumored $25 million valuation may reflect a private offer, an insurance appraisal, or speculative projections based on uniqueness and market enthusiasm, as high-end numismatic transactions are sometimes conducted confidentially, shielding final sale prices from public disclosure while fueling intrigue within collector communities, and intrigue itself becomes part of the coin's value equation. As mystery enhances desirability, and desirability drives bidding behavior, and beyond the excitement of potential auction drama, rare coins also serve as tangible alternative investments, offering diversification benefits during economic uncertainty because they are finite, portable, and historically resilient assets, and unlike digital currencies or fluctuating stock portfolios, a certified unique coin represents a physical object with permanent scarcity that cannot be duplicated. And that permanence appeals strongly to high-net-worth individuals seeking both stability and prestige, and the 1990p Roosevelt dime carries additional symbolic significance because it bears the image of President Franklin D. Roosevelt, a leader associated with economic recovery and resilience, and the idea that a coin honoring Roosevelt could itself become a symbol of financial transformation for its owner adds emotional depth to the narrative, reinforcing its appeal beyond pure metal value. And technically speaking, authentication of such a coin would involve rigorous examination including precise weight measurement to detect deviations from the standard 2.27 grams, microscopic inspection of die markers to confirm authenticity, magnetic testing to identify metal composition, and possibly advanced X-ray fluorescence analysis to verify alloy content without harming the coin's surface. Because when millions of dollars are involved, counterfeit attempts inevitably increase. And professional third-party grading services exist to protect both buyers and sellers by ensuring that extraordinary claims are backed by scientific verification and expert analysis. And if the 1990p dime in question were unveiled at a major auction house after successful authentication, the event would likely attract worldwide attention, with collectors bidding through phone lines and online platforms, each incremental increase heightening tension and pushing the hammer price toward or beyond the rumored $25 million mark. And bidding wars at this level often transcend purely rational calculations, as emotion, prestige, and the fear of missing out combine to drive record-breaking outcomes, and beyond the spectacle of high-end auctions, the broader lesson embedded in the $25 million 1990p dime story is that value is not defined by denomination but by rarity and demand. Because 10 cents stamped on metal does not limit its ultimate potential when extraordinary circumstances intervene, and throughout numismatic history remarkable discoveries have surfaced decades after minting, often hidden in estate collections, safety deposit boxes, or forgotten coin jars, proving that time does not eliminate the possibility of surprise. And each new discovery revitalizes the collecting community, reminding enthusiasts that vigilance and knowledge can uncover treasures hidden in plain sight. And even if only one such extraordinary 1990p dime truly exists, the possibility alone inspires millions to learn more about minmarks, die varieties, grading standards, and error identification, transforming casual curiosity into informed awareness, and knowledge becomes a powerful tool in recognizing anomalies that others might overlook, strengthening the overall integrity and excitement of the coin market, and whether the $25 million valuation ultimately reflects a confirmed sale or remains an aspirational benchmark within private negotiations, its story continues to captivate audiences worldwide, reinforcing the timeless appeal of coin collecting as both hobby and investment. And perhaps the most powerful takeaway is that hidden potential can exist within the most ordinary objects, waiting patiently for the right observer to recognize its true worth. So before you dismiss that next 1990p dime as insignificant pocket change, take a closer look, examine its details. Consider its weight and condition, and remember that history has shown us extraordinary value can hide where we least expect it. And as the fascination around the 1990p one dime valued at $25 million continues to grow, it becomes even more important to explore the deeper layers of how such a modern coin could realistically command that level of attention and speculative worth. Because in the world of elite numismatics, the difference between an ordinary coin and a multi-million-dollar treasure often lies in microscopic details invisible to the untrained eye, and when collectors talk about a coin reaching eight-figure territory, they are not talking about hype alone but about a convergence of rarity metrics, historical context, certified uniqueness, and market psychology that creates a perfect environment for explosive valuation. And in the case of a 1990p dime, the most discussed possibility among advanced collectors is the existence of an extreme mint anomaly such as a mule error, which occurs when two dies intended for different coins are accidentally paired together, creating a hybrid that should never exist. And while mule errors are extraordinarily rare in modern U.S. coinage, history has documented a few shocking examples, and if a 1990p dime were ever discovered struck with mismatched dies or experimental engravings not meant for circulation, that coin would immediately become a centerpiece of modern era collecting, and when only one specimen is confirmed, its population rarity becomes absolute, meaning there is no substitute and no second chance for a collector who misses the opportunity to acquire it. And that level of exclusivity often triggers aggressive bidding among registry-set competitors who aim to own the finest and rarest certified coins in existence. And registry competition has significantly influenced modern coin prices over the past 2 decades, as collectors strive to rank number one in graded set categories. And when a coin is labeled Population 1 with none finer, it becomes a trophy that can elevate an entire collection to legendary status. And prestige in these circles is not just about wealth but about recognition within a highly specialized community of experts and investors, and recognition fuels demand in ways that spreadsheets cannot measure. And beyond mule errors, another theory supporting the $25 million narrative involves a dramatic broad strike or double denomination strike combined with pristine preservation. Because occasionally coins are struck outside the retaining collar, creating oversized pieces with distorted rims. And in extremely rare situations, a coin may receive impressions from 2 different denominations, producing a visually stunning and technically complex error that defies conventional classification. And when such dramatic visual anomalies occur on a coin already tied to a specific mint year and mark, collectors respond with intense interest, especially if the coin's surfaces remain nearly flawless decades after minting. Because condition plays a massive role in high-end valuation, and a coin graded MS69 or MS70 by PCGS or NGC represents near perfection, with minimal or no visible marks under magnification, and achieving that level of preservation for a coin struck for circulation in 1990 is itself uncommon, making the intersection of error rarity and grade rarity extraordinarily powerful. And the verification process for such a coin would be exhaustive, involving die state analysis, comparison with known genuine examples, digital imaging, metallurgical testing, and expert panel review. Because when millions of dollars are discussed, the numismatic community demands absolute certainty, and once certified, the coin would likely be encapsulated in a tamper-evident holder with a detailed label describing its unique characteristics, instantly becoming one of the most talked about modern coins in existence. And if offered publicly, major auction houses would market it globally, emphasizing not only its technical rarity but also its narrative appeal as a modern coin capable of rivaling historic gold and silver legends, and marketing in elite auctions plays a significant role in shaping perception, as storytelling transforms a coin from a metallic object into a symbol of discovery, mystery, and financial transformation. And the symbolism of a 1990p Roosevelt dime reaching $25 million would resonate strongly because it represents the idea that hidden value can exist within the everyday, reinforcing the timeless treasure hunt fantasy that drives millions of people to examine their spare change. And while skeptics may question such valuations, it is important to remember that high-end collectibles often operate in markets separate from ordinary price guides, where a single determined buyer can redefine value benchmarks overnight, and private sales especially can exceed public auction records when discretion and exclusivity are prioritized. And insurance appraisals for unique coins sometimes reflect replacement value rather than previous sale price, which can push theoretical valuations even higher. And as economic uncertainty fluctuates globally, tangible assets like rare coins often attract increased attention from investors seeking diversification beyond traditional financial instruments. And a certified unique 1990p dime would represent a finite, portable, and historically intriguing asset immune to inflationary dilution. And that stability combined with exclusivity enhances its appeal among ultra-high net worth individuals, and beyond investment considerations. The educational ripple effect of such a story is profound, as millions of viewers begin researching mintmarks, studying die varieties, purchasing magnifiers, and learning about weight tolerances and composition testing, transforming passive curiosity into active engagement with numismatic knowledge. And knowledge is the foundation of opportunity in this field, because recognizing a rare coin requires awareness of subtle indicators such as edge reading consistency, strike sharpness, luster quality, and metal coloration differences. And even slight deviations from standard specifications can signal something extraordinary. And although the statistical odds of discovering a $25 million 1990p dime are extremely slim, history has repeatedly demonstrated that remarkable finds occur when least expected. From estate collections uncovered decades later to forgotten bank rolls opened by persistent collectors, and each discovery reinforces the principle that rarity can hide in plain sight. And perhaps the most compelling aspect of the $25 million 1990p dime narrative is not merely the price tag but the mindset it inspires, encouraging attentiveness, patience, and appreciation for the artistry and complexity of coin production. And the Roosevelt dime itself, designed to honor a president associated with resilience and recovery, becomes a powerful metaphor for transformation when tied to such extraordinary value. And transformation is at the heart of every viral coin story, because it represents the possibility that something small and overlooked can become monumental under the right circumstances. And as long as collectors continue searching, studying, and competing for the rarest specimens, stories like this will continue to ignite imagination across generations, reminding us that value is not defined by denomination but by uniqueness and demand. And whether the 1990p dime ultimately confirms a public sale at $25 million or remains a legendary benchmark within private negotiations, its impact on collector enthusiasm and market awareness is undeniable, and that impact alone ensures its place in modern numismatic conversation. So the next time you receive a dime dated 1990 with a small p mintmark, pause before spending it, examine its surfaces, check its weight if possible. And remember that history has surprised the world before with extraordinary discoveries emerging from ordinary circulation. And if this extended story about the 1990p one dime valued at $25 million continues to fuel your curiosity and deepen your interest in rare coins, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and stay connected for more remarkable coin stories that prove hidden fortunes may still be waiting to be found.